Okay, so going way back to 1972 for this one, and what a fantastic song. I've always really loved this song, and really love a lot of Greg Lake's acoustic stuff with the LP. It's really, really excellent songwriting, and always has this kind of mystical quality about it, you know. It's just great music in my opinion. The acoustic parts are great, the vocal is great, but that killer synth solo at the end is just, I mean, what a great band. Really, really good band. Anyways, okay, so let's get into it. We start with the intro, and it just starts on an open E string, low E, and then we hit the harmonics on the G, B, and E on the 12th fret. So we just got, we let that E string ring. And it's very, very similar to yes, Fragile, Roundabout, right? And I looked it up actually because I know one influenced the other, but Fragile came out in '71, and this album, Trilogy, I think it was, for ELP came out in '72. So obviously he was looking to kind of get the same vibe of an intro as for Roundabout, right? So anyways, okay, so open E, those harmonics, and then we've got, so it's just E10, E12, slide down to E7. So, and then we're going to go, okay, so E5, trill from E7 to E8. And then we're going to hit B5. Now we could hit E open, and it's just a different tone again, you know, like that's a thinner than that, right? So I elected to go with it fretted here because I think it sounds closer to what he's doing. Okay, and then we're going to go just a hammer on to 7 and 8. And then we've got open A string, open G string, B8, sliding up to B13. And now we're going to play this chord here, which is actually the opening chord when we start strumming. And what that is he arpeggiates it, and it's just open A, and it's D10, G12, open B, open E, and he just goes. Okay, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and kind of hits that open E a little delayed. All right. Okay, now we get into this fast picking thing. And Greg Lake is incredibly fast with his picking, and he just loves arpeggios. Almost all of his acoustic stuff are arpeggios with a pick, and a lot of them really fast, especially this one. So what we've got here is G11 and B10, and play that with your second finger on the G string, first finger on the B, and we're just going to go just forward and back. And he sort of starts slow and speeds it up. That's your first figure. Next figure is we're going to slide that second finger down a fret and put our third finger here on B11 and do the same thing. Okay, so we go from here. Okay, and then we're going to slide that figure down to here. So G5, B6, and we're going to do it twice here, and kind of slow down that last one, and then just hit that chord. Okay, so okay, and that's your intro. Okay, so now we get into the verse, and the verse starts with this lick. Okay, and the way he's doing that is he's bending on the 2nd fret of the E string, the F sharp, bending up to the G note, right? And holding it, okay? It's really important that you hold it while you hit the D string. You upstroke that D string. Now I see a lot of guys playing this different ways. Some guys will bend on the G note, you know, and let go of it, like that. Other guys will go slur up from the F sharp to the G and let it go, right? I mean, you could do it that way, but don't let it go. You've got to hold it, right? So when you bend it, when you hit that D note, it's got to be held. Okay? And then we bend it again. And then hit the A string. And when you bend it, got to make sure you don't go sharp or flat, right? You're trying to, it's a 5th, right? So you've got your G and your D. So you gotta try and get it in tune. And if you listen to the track, there's a couple of times he does that where he actually does go sharp. Okay, so try and get that in tune. And like a great way to practice it is just break it down to that. Okay, and then you finish it off by going, hitting the A string. And as you hit the A string, you want to mute that D string. We don't want to get this. We don't want the D string and the A string ringing, okay? As soon as we hit the A string, we want to mute the D. And then we're heading back up there for that, right? So, and now we're going to start our strumming. And that first chord is like I explained earlier. D10, G12, open A, open B, open E, right? And we're just going to go. And what I do is I hang my middle finger over here to mute that E string, okay, because we don't want to sound that. And this chord, by the way, I'll try and tell you all the chords here for those guys that are interested in the theory aspect of it. That's an A minor 9th. Okay, so we've got our A, our C, which is the minor 3rd. And then we've got the G, which is the 7th. And we've got that open B, which is like the 9th. And then we've got the E, which is the 5th, right? So A minor 9th. So, right, and it's open A string, downstroke, upstroke. Like so. Okay, next chord is down here. And we're going to go open A, D4, open G, and B3, open E. And this chord, this is an interesting chord. I would have to call this a D sus4 add 9 over A. Okay, I mean whatever. You know, you've got your, I mean it's like a D chord, right? It's like that. But we've got that open E, so that'll be your 9th. And we've got the F sharp and the G. So we've got that crazy dissonance in there, right? Semitone dissonance. That would be, the G would be your 4th, so that's your sus4, but you've also got the 3rd in there. Like normally when you do a sus4 chord, you eliminate the 3rd, but this one has the 3rd in it as well. And that's, I think, the secret of that chord. So that dissonance makes the chord. Right? So you get the 3rd and the 4th. So we're going from here. Okay, we just go back and forth. And again, I'm putting my 3rd finger over here to mute that E string because we don't want that E string, okay? And, you know, while the guitar is staying on that A, the bass is going, it's going to the D. It just repeats that, and then we get into this next section, which is this. Okay, and that's like a C chord to a G over a B bass. Okay, got a little finger here on B3 to get the D note. And we're going to pick just these notes. So just the C on A3, open G, open E. Drop that down 1 fret, open G, and now the D note on B3. So, okay, so. Okay, and live, he actually seems to do this more nowadays. Just the C to the G over B bass without the D, and just just going straight across on the arpeggio. So you can pick whichever one you want to do there. I went with because that's what's on the album, and I wanted to stay sort of true to that. Okay, so now we're going to play this chord, F9 chord, just like an F with a little finger here on the G note on E3, and we're going to arpeggiate it. Okay, so just all the way down, all the way back, and then just... Okay, now we're going to slide it up 2 frets, making a G chord without the little finger, and do that same picking. Okay, and then we're going to hit this chord, which is like an F over a D, which is a D minor, right? And we're going to pick that like this. Same thing, same pattern. And we're going to finish it off by going. Okay, open B. And then we're going to do the lick again, but this time it's a little bit different. So the first time we did it like this, using the open D, but this time we're going to use the open G, so we're going to go. Okay, so just substitute the open G for the open D. Then we do, another verse. Now this part is a little bit different. It starts out the same. And it ends like that, okay? So okay, now open G. And then D2, open D, A3, the C note. And we put a little bend on that to open A. So coming out of this, the rhythm changes a bit, and instead of going, we're going to go like this. That's the same, but this is. And that's the only time it does that in the song. And then we're going to get into the chorus, which is the D minor, because it's all so clear, that part. And the next chord is going to be like a G7 add 9. Okay, so we've got D5, G4, B5, B6 with a little finger, and E5 with the third finger. Okay, so from here to here, you were meant to be here, and then we hit this chord, which is just an awesome chord, and I think kind of makes this song. So what that is like an E7 with a sus4. Okay, and that's cool, but what really makes it is he takes the root and moves it up a semitone, or in other words, takes the second and flats it, so it's a flat second. Okay, so we've got open E, A2, D3, G2, B3, open E. Okay. That flat second is that, gives it that mysterious Phrygian. You know, that kind of mysterious sound, right? And he just arpeggiates it. And then we're back into this. Back to the, you know, the open D, because that open G one that I showed you earlier only happens that one time. Okay, every other time it's off the open D. Okay. And then he goes through another verse, and I mean, these are the basics of what you need. There's only one other part that's kind of different. And that would be actually two parts. In this part, the second time around, one guitar is just playing those like we did the first time, and the other guitar is going, just adding that rhythm. Okay, it's not a big deal. If you're playing this by yourself, you could throw that in there. And then the cool part, and the most difficult part of the song, is coming out of, I think, the second, or maybe it's the third verse. Is that lick there. So we're going to come from this, and then we're going to upstroke on the B string, and hit the F sharp note on D4. And then we're going to do this lick, which is starting in open E, and then it's chromatic from 2, 3, 4 of the E string, then open A, 2, 3, 4 of the A string, open D, 2, 3, 4 of the D string, and then open G, okay? And it's alternate picked, and I start that with an upstroke, okay? So I go, okay? So up, down, up, down, up. So every time I hit an open string, I'm on an up. Okay? I mean, you don't have to do it that way. Do it whatever way you can make it work. That just worked good for me, okay? I mean, you could even go, just hammer it on if you just struggle with the alternate picking. Okay, and I think that's just before the solo comes in. Not sure. You'd have to listen to the track to get the exact order of it, but really cool lick, and it really shows Greg Lake's acoustic guitar playing ability. Really, really good guitar player. And of course, then it goes into that just insanely good synth solo. These guys were just awesome musicians, you know, like just really top end players, and always really loved their music, like I said in the beginning. Anyways, that's it. I hope you enjoy this one. It's really a nice sounding song to play, you know, and you could even go, it's on the bass, but it's just a trill from E to F, right? Yeah, great song, great band. Okay, hope you get something out of it, and we'll talk to you next time.